Welcome back to the 12 Talk podcast, everyone. My name is Josh, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Mitch. Sorry we're a bit late this week. My house was hit by the plague, and there's no stopping that, really. So rather than cancel the pod altogether, we moved it back. That did mean, however, that our intended guest, Dom, from In the End Zone UK, couldn't make it tonight. But worry not, we have found a fantastic substitute. We'll introduce him in a little bit. But Mitch, how are you doing? Good week so far?
Yeah, doing really good. There's nothing quite like an absolute demolition of an NFC rival on a Sunday night to set you up for a great week, right? So
yeah,
we got that, and we're going to break that down and talk about it, and I cannot wait. But yeah, good start to the week, and hopefully, because we're on a short one, hopefully a good end to it as well on Thursday night.
God, I hope so. When we're coming back on Friday with Dom for a pod to review that game, and I cannot wait. To everyone who's joining us, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Feel free to leave your comments and whatnot. And if you are new to the pod, by all means, you can like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Hit the notification bell, and we can reach more and more 12s. But without further ado, shall we hit the intro, and then we'll bring in our guest?
Yeah, let's do that.
Nice. Back at it again. And a very quick shout out to our show sponsor, Flying V Vintage Sports Clothing. They have vintage American sportswear all over their website. You can check them out. Their link is in the description below, and you can use our code 12Talk to get 20% off your order. They've got some Seattle Seahawks stuff in there, but a lot of it has gone, but they'll be working to get some more back. Without further ado, our guest tonight, as you may have seen from the artwork and from our announcements on social media, is a returning guest. He was in the intro video there. He's one of our favourite German Seahawkers. Ladies and gents, please welcome back Mr. Jonas Meister. Jonas, wie geht's?
Evening all. How are you?
Fantastic, mate. All the better for having you here. Thank you so much for stepping in at the last minute when Dom obviously had some family commitments, and the first person I thought to ask was yourself. So we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Now, we're obviously going to chop it up a little bit. We'll talk about the Saints game, and if we've got time at the end, we'll talk about some what we want to see for the Cardinals game. What's new in your world anyway? Anything big happened recently?
Yeah, kind of. We had our annual meetup with the German Seahawks, and I'm now actually for the next 2 years an extended member of the German Seahawks board. So got voted into that, and yeah, we set a couple of new things up for the German Seahawks and how we are going to run it. We have our 10-year anniversary coming up next year, so a couple of big things planned there. And we have 1,700 members now. So we have to reorganize a bit to make it a good experience for everybody else. So we decided to extend the board to help our chairman Lucas and all the guys and girls over there. So yeah, that's what happened.
That is a lot. 1,700 members. I think the UK Seahawks, we've got some work to do, but hopefully we will reach those heady heights.
Definitely.
But obviously, we were all sort of having a chat over the Discord. Obviously, when the game was going on, and it was brilliant. It was the happiest I've heard people during a Seahawks game recently, which was so nice.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone expected that first quarter to go as it did. Before we get into it, shall we just do a quick review for anyone who may have forgotten, but I highly doubt? Seahawks won 44-13. Absolutely beautiful. Quick look at the box score. That first quarter, 21 unanswered points with a touchdown from JSN, the punt return touchdown from Torrey Horton, and the touchdown from Ken Walker. Quarter two, 17-6 with a field goal from Grouper or Group. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Bailey Groupie, I
Groupie.
think. Yeah.
Oh, should be an extra E or an umlaut on that, surely.
I don't know.
And then you've got the TD from Horton, you've got the field goal from Myers, and then the other field goal from Groupie. Q3, 6-0. So two field goals from Myers, and then Q4 you had the bonus, I suppose. The Fergie time TD from Stoll, and that was that. The game was over after the first quarter. But how do we all feel about it? Let's start with you, Jonas. What were your feelings? We know because we were talking it through in the Discord. But what were your feelings of that game? Now you've had time to sort of process it and think about it.
Yeah, obviously at the start, it's to win like that and have it dominated. Basically having it won in the first quarter is obviously amazing, and it feels really good to just sit there and enjoy a Seahawks game without having to bite at your nails. And it's just. There were a lot of positives, some negatives as well. If you wanted to nitpick, obviously it was against the Saints team who was really bad here, but we all talked about the trap game before kickoff, because they did have a really good showing against the Cardinals in week 1, and also they weren't as bad against the Niners as the result would actually tell. So I wouldn't say they were dangerous, but it's the NFL, and there are no easy games in the NFL. But the way the Seahawks handled their business and we said in the Discord, just please keep your foot on the gas. Just no Pete Carroll BS.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going through it now. We're taking our foot off the gas, and we will manage. And that's really showing the kind of team Mike McDonald wants to have. And that's really, really nice to see.
Yeah. Mitch, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, I felt like one of the things I enjoyed the most was how we didn't. I mean, Jonas mentions keeping our foot on the gas, but I think we kind of had our foot on their throat. You know, it was, we may not have continued scoring at the rate we started at, but we didn't relinquish control or do anything silly that gave them, you know, a couple of quick cut touchdowns to get back into the game. And our discipline stayed really, really good throughout the game. All the flags seemed to be flying in the direction of the Saints, and Lumen Field will do that to offensive lines. We saw that in full effect as well. So, yeah, I think there was a ruthlessness to the way in which we approached the game, and then once we got into an advantageous position, the way we sort of just shut the door and really sort of kept the boot on the throat.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the flags, I think I voiced my opinion on this in the Discord as well, that there were some in the second half, and anyone who's played sport, when you've been so far up in a game, you tend to get this. The referees will be on your side because you're in the ascendancy. But when you get so far ahead, it's like, I can't remember who said it, but
they're like pity flags, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like, you're not doing it here. Have a penalty. There you go. Look, I'll throw a flag for you. Have another first down. Have another go. Go on. And that seemed to happen so much, and it was as infuriating as it was so nice to be on the receiving end of them that the referees were like, if we just let Seattle run away with this game, then we could be looking at a huge score, and then people will be questioning us anyway. So they were like, okay, well that was a fringe call, but we'll give them that. And I thought
it was like having to go through that game with a golf handicap just to give the Saints like a sporting chance of competing.
Yeah.
There was a handicap issued. That was how it felt at the end.
Yeah, it really felt like the refs were pitiful about the Saints. I can remember the roughing the passer penalty against Leo Williams, where he picked Rattler up and just really let him down, just laid him down there, and everybody was saying he got a flag, and everybody was saying, huh, why? So I think they were really pitiful with them and wanted to have him. Yeah.
There you go, Yannick. It's been a few days, and I'm still angry about the Orlean sack.
Yeah. I think this was the situation, because it would have been a sack against Rattler. Yeah.
I mean, before we move on to our winners and losers, can we just address at the moment that, and I don't think he's in any of our winners and losers, but Leo Williams is currently playing like the premier interior D lineman in the NFL. He has elevated this D line to such a point where we're now spoken about in sort of top 3 in the league, and there's no letting up. It's game after game after game where he has just been exceptional, to the point where our big off-season sort of free agent acquisition into Marcus Lawrence, not many people have spoken about him, and he's been good, but it's all focused on one player that will come across in our winners and losers segment shortly, but a lot of it's been focused on Big Cat. And that is so nice to hear, the fact that we've got NFL-wide pundits saying how good our O-line, our D-line is, and the fact that Big Cat is a linchpin within that, which is absolutely brilliant. Shall we, first of all, let's do our highlights first of this game before we go on to winners and losers. So, Jonas, as always, as our guest, what were your highlights from this game?
Yeah, I'm actually... I already texted you that with my winners and losers as well, and with my highlights. I'm not going for the low hanging fruits, which have been talked about obviously a lot, like the Torrey Horton's beautiful punt return and his catch, the TD catch. I'm actually going for the punt block by the Anthony Bell, which set up the third TD in the first quarter, because it really exemplifies the depth this roster has. And I was when they signed him in the off season, because he's a special teams ace. It really exemplifies my belief that he's really an integral part of this team, because we've seen how important special teams can be, and to have good special teamers on there who can make those plays, it's just really, really important. Even now in the regular season, maybe even more if it all goes well in the postseason. So that's really good, because he was actually diving for the ball, was unblocked. Such an athletic play, such a heads up play, and I really like that one.
Yeah, I love it. There's the big thing at the moment, isn't there, about they're not practice squad players, they're ready squad players. And he's been dropped into the practice squad, and he's been elevated. And when he's been elevated, he's looked really good. And if that is the way this team's going to go, having a 70-man roster essentially this season, being able to drop players like that into the practice squad, same as your Shaq Griffins and your George Halanis, whoever else, then bringing them back up and having that impact is exactly where you want to be with that type of the roster depth. What was your second highlight?
Actually, my second highlight was, I have to look it up. It was Sam Darnold's first pass play, because it reminded me of a big talking point, even with the national media over the off season. Yeah, it was the O-line, which we're gonna get to later, really let the pressure through there, and Sam just stayed so poised. He spun again out of the defender's grasp, and yeah, delivered a really good ball, really good floater to JSN, who himself was down the field, actually saw that Sam was under pressure, and broke off his route, and yeah, really did something which receivers don't actually do that often. He didn't go towards the line of scrimmage. He actually went behind the defender for Sam to get the ball over the defender and throw it to him. So it was actually the second play, this sort of play by Sam Darnold. Everybody can remember the pass play to AJ Barner against the Steelers last week, where on third down, which was actually really crucial to put the game away. And it was basically the same situation. There was a free rusher barreling towards him. He spun out of it. He found AJ Barner down the sideline. And yeah, in the offseason, the national media just kept saying, yeah, Sam's really bad under pressure, and so on and so on. And if you listen to Brian Hemhauser and all the Seahawks pundits, I'll call them, they said actually Sam's really good under pressure. He was one of the best rated QBs under pressure. And this, even though there weren't like really that typical highlight plays with a nice TD pass or something like that, it really underlines for me how good he's under pressure and how undervalued this is by most of the experts. And yeah, really great to see him handling pressure there.
Yeah. Mitch, thoughts on Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I mean, it was 156 or 157 passer rating in the game.
Yeah.
Nearly perfect.
Yeah. Nearly perfect rating, and the highest he's had since he had a 5-touchdown, 400-yard game for the Vikings last year. And I think the cool thing about that is he's scoring such a high rating, but he didn't throw all that many touchdowns. It was just playing perfectly within the system we were trying to play on the night. And that for me is great, because that is someone succeeding individually while doing exactly what they're being asked to do for the sake of the team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not let Russ cook, where he goes out and absolutely cooks a team and gets a great rating and throws 5 touchdowns and goes for 500 yards because that's what he wants to do. That's Sam Darnold going out, following orders, executing perfectly, and scoring a great individual score. And I think that is exactly what you need from your franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, Rich just put it there. Darnold's been so efficient in this scheme, and he has. Do you know the one thing that for me has sort of encapsulated, and obviously we'll talk about the O-line a bit in a bit. When you look at a lot of his big plays and where he's been really efficient, there's a lot of rollouts to the left, which shows his trust in the left side of that O-line. Where when you think last year with Charles Cross and Laken Tomlinson, that would never have happened, because you would have had Charles Cross left on an island trying to block 2 or 3 men because Tomlinson would have done nothing. Whereas now with Cross and Zabel on the left side, that's given Darnold the confidence to be able to roll out that way, know that he's still got the time to escape the pocket and make those throws. I think it's been brilliant. I love all the people that were really slating Ginger Jesus in the off season. And I pull that up because I can't remember who's just put it in our Discord, but that was a brilliant meme to put up there. And he's showing that it wasn't just him being part of that Kevin O'Connell system that made him work. He's a good QB in his own right, and he's really doing well in this system as well. So, Jonas, there were your 2 highlights. Just big hello to everyone joining us. Really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like this video. It really helps. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. But Mitch, What are your highlights, mate?
So this is the easiest decision I'll make all year for a highlight, I think, and that is Torrey Horton's punt return. I think
there you go.
I
The
think
low hanging fruit.
everyone's expecting me to talk about Torrey Horton because I've been a big fan of his for quite a long time in college. As everyone on this podcast know, because we mention it every time we talk about Horton. I did predict that this would be the kind of player we reach out to get potentially as a Tyler Lockett sort of understudy at the time. Obviously, Tyler Lockett didn't stay on the roster, so he is a replacement rather than an understudy. But with that comparison being made, special teams touchdowns on returns in your rookie season, that is something that we saw from Tyler Lockett. Red zone targets, balls dropped into buckets, and body control, attacking the corners of the end zone. These are things we saw from Tyler Lockett that we're now seeing from Torrey Horton. So that highlight for me for Torrey Horton, the franchise record 95-yard punt return, was a great moment. And in true Mystic Mitch style, I'll blow my own trumpet again and mention the fact that before that punt was kicked,
You
in our
did.
Discord,
I forgot about this.
I said this will be Torrey Horton to the house. The ball hadn't even been.
Did you really?
Yet,
He genuinely
yeah, I said,
awesome.
Horton. I said Torrey Horton to the house, and then it was we're just watching all the blocks unfold in front, and I was like, oh my god, I did this! I manifested this. Obviously, I take no credit, and it's all Torrey Horton. But yeah,
it actually was a really, really good punt because it kept on sailing, and he went down to the 5-yard line to catch it, and
it was a thing of beauty, and I remember watching it, and obviously we were all watching it individually, and then we were having our voice chat, and then Mitch just pipes up and goes, Horton to the house. I was like, what? And then it materialized. I think it was every time a kick went, I think someone else said Horton to the house. It's like, sorry, you're only allowed one of those.
You can't overdo it. It's a once a game thing. I'll do it next week. Don't worry. I'll do it on Thursday.
Do you actually know that Torrey Horton's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer?
Yes,
because
Torrey Horton to the Hall of Fame. There you go, called it.
Yeah, in the last week he was compared to Rick Woolen said that Torrey Horton is Jerry Rice Jr. Because of the way he moves with his high stepping and his long legs. And actually this morning or yesterday, Brian Nemhauser asked Clint Kubiak, who actually cracked a smile when talking about Torrey Horton in the presser, actually Clint Kubiak wasn't going to say who is his comparison for Torrey Horton, and Brian asked him again, and he let it out that he really thinks that Torrey Horton has the rookie traits of Justin Jefferson. So in the last week, he's been compared to Jerry Rice and Justin Jefferson. So he's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, you heard it here first, and I'm just going to put it up here now again. So Rich said we just need the lottery numbers now, Mitch. # Mystic Mitch. That could be a new segment on this show, Mitch. You can call these things before they happen.
Yeah.
Crystal ball.
Right, Mitch. Did you have another highlight?
Yeah, I did. This one, if the Torrey Horton touchdown was early in the game, this one's towards the back end, and it was the moment we started taking starters out of the game because we were far ahead. It wasn't starters getting taken out because we were getting smashed. It was starters getting to be taken out of the game to protect them on a short week because we were absolutely belt to cheeks against the Saints. And I'm here for it. I know some of us might have had our players in fantasy and whatnot, and that's a bit of a kick to take. But realistically, the bigger picture, we were able to rest star players on a short week because we just got our business done early in the game and we were ruthless. And that is a symptom of a very well-coached team that we now watch every week.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Jonas, anything to say about that?
No, it's just I think this is another prophecy going through. I hope it continues throughout the season, because I remember Jalen Milroe talking about, after he got drafted, as something about belts and behinds to stay PG here, and it was a pretty belts to behinds game from my point of view. So if this continues, I'm so on board.
Yeah, and Mitch, you and I were saying this. I can't remember the last time we've had to take out our starters to protect them because we had such a lead. And the best thing was we took out our starters, and like you said, we didn't take our foot off the throat. They scored 7 points in the second half, and it was a nothing time touchdown in Q4.
And Jacardia Wright coming into the game, elevated to the game to the squad as a backup. Well, actually, he became the rock pounding, clock chewing running back, and he did a really good job. He was churning out first downs. He looked really fit for purpose like that, and that just is another way in which we managed risk. We ran the ball, ran it well, and we ran it with a backup running back. That is the extreme of safety.
There you go. The last time we took out our starters from Hawkskull, it was against the Jets in either 2023 or 2022.
And you know who was the Jets quarterback at the time? Sam Darnold.
Poor man.
It's like the rescue station for Jets quarterbacks here in Seattle.
Yep.
And then just a pity. So Amy said, just pity that Wright is now out for 4 to 6.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Which is a shame,
sadly.
So, gentlemen, this is my personal favourite segment of the show, because it caused a lot of discussion, a lot of controversy. You get a lot of comments in through this usually, and this is winners and losers. Now, as there are three of us, as always, we'll start with our guest. So, Jonas, you can give us a winner. Then Mitch will give us a winner, and I'll give a winner, and so on and so forth. Then we'll get to the losers at the end. So, Jonas, your first winner, my friend.
Again, not going for the low-hanging fruits, not going towards the obvious things. I thought about it a bit, and I'm actually going for as a winner for the Seahawks scouting department in this case, because as we've seen, the big talking point before the game was, how can the Seahawks defense survive without Spoon, Emonwari, and Julian Love, and watching the way Josh Jobe and Darian Kendrick play, who actually were who came off the street. Josh Jobe last year, because Carl Scott, the secondary coach, actually recruited him from Alabama because he coached him at Alabama, was a UDFA, and Darian Kendrick was poached off the Rams practice squad, who badly need cornerbacks right now. So they probably wish they hadn't let go of Darian Kendrick, and you actually, the Seahawks scouting department is that good that they find those kind of players who really can back up as their starters and make those problems everybody was talking about before the game go away, because we weren't really missing Spoon, Emonwari, and Julian Love, which are obviously very, very important players. But they played so good. Darian Kendrick is developing into like Jamal Adams, has a bit of tricks for hands, because Mike McDonald said in the press conference afterwards he has to go to the Leslie Frazier School of Ball drills, because he could have had 3 interceptions and only had 1, which actually was, again, like in Pittsburgh last week, the more difficult catch of those. Yep. And just to get those sort of players. Actually, the Seahawks didn't do it the first time. DJ Reed was another one of those players who was poached off the 49ers practice squad, and who came in for free and is now a really good starter in the NFL. Wish we would have paid him because a really good cornerback. But yeah, it's just well done towards the scouting department and John Schneider.
I love that pick as a winner. That's a nice pick. It's something that's often thought about as well. These players, where do they come from? How they're scouted. Also, I saw my first in pictures from the stadium. I saw my first Josh Jobe jersey.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was shocked. I can't remember where I saw it. I was flicking through social media and I saw an action green 29 Jobe jersey.
awesome.
I thought, fair enough.
Probably an old Earl Thomas jersey. With
it may have been repurposed, but fair play.
Yeah.
And usually I don't like action green, and then I say that wearing my new Dixon shirt, which is predominantly green. So, Mitch, who's your first winner, sir?
I'm going to do my second winner as my first one, just because it's on topic. I put the second choice secondary as my winner. I think a lot of people came into this game thinking that our secondary and how depleted it would struggle. We saw Jerick Reed, called up from the practice squad for this game. You're looking at Shaq Griffin. You're kind of looking around thinking, are we going to see a lot of Tariq Woolen, who a lot of the fans aren't overly enamored with at the moment? Looking at that, you thought this could be a bit of a ropey one. But then Jobe and Kendrick just showed up and showed out, and what was I ever worried about? Genuinely. So I think we've really got some good depth there now. I think there's an awful lot of development still for these players, which is actually quite scary because they've come in and they're playing like veterans. They're playing like they've played in this scheme for a period of time as well. That's the thing. And I know Kendrick's had opportunities that really he could have capitalized on with those interceptions. But you have to be in the right spots to have the chance to make those catches. And he's getting there so early. I think he's got too much time to think about the catch. He seems a better instinctive playmaker than someone who's ruthless when sort of positioning themselves and having the time to make the play. So I think there's a little bit of the game slowing down for him a bit and things to happen there. But they are playing like veterans. They're playing like they've been in here a long time, and it makes me feel quite comfortable about the Woolen woes.
Yeah,
because you can just hook him. You can start him, and if he's looking ropey, just there you go, Kendrick, and you go, Jobe, and you go. Happy days.
It's a nice problem to have, isn't it? And I've been very vocal about my distrust for Tariq Woolen. I voiced this on experiment. I voiced this on Hawk Talk when I guested on there with Dave DeRochers, with Walter Thurmond, and with Dave Wyman. And I didn't quite get a straightforward answer, but I'd like to think that everyone in the back of their mind has got the same, I won't say issues, but it's sort of a quandary about him. Is he going to come good by the end of the season? Will he start improving? But when you've got backups like we've got, it's just been outstanding. It's so good to see. My first winner, and I will keep pounding the drum for this guy, it is my boy, Robbie Oots. So every single game, Robbie Oots comes up with something, whether it is an incredible block, just being an extra lineman, clearing holes. The 2 touchdowns that K9 scored this week were straight off the back of a lead block from Robbie Oots. And let's face it, K9, the running game didn't get going this week at all. I did have the stats for K9, but then I just left them to the side because they were woeful. But the 2 touchdowns came from Robbie Oots blocking. The fact that we could enter into an I formation with that fullback in there, and he can make the valuable yards to get us into the end zone when our running game has been spluttering, is fantastic. And I am still this far away from buying a Robbie Oots jersey. Luckily now, however, we have our 12 Talk t-shirts and we have our Oots t-shirt. So anyone who wants to have a look at those, they are on our social media, or you can join our Discord, and they're usually in there as well. But I will be repping one of them soon because I've got one at the printers as we speak.
Yes.
Right. Jonas, your second winner, sir.
My second winner, I have to look it up on my phone because I wrote it down there. My second winner is actually Gray Zabel. For basically proving John Schneider wrong, that good guards are not overdrafted and overpaid, because it's just Zabel's just playing so well, and he's I have to look it up. Hold on a second. Really good stats for him. He hasn't allowed any pressures. So he has 0 penalties through 3 games. He has 0 sacks allowed. He has basically has allowed six pressures, total pressures. Just 3 hits allowed, and for a rookie guard in an O-line which was supposed to be really bad, he's just holding his own. He's if you look at the videos of the Seahawks are posting after the games, he's a really integral part of this team already. He has a really good relationship, I think, with Ken Walker. He stands up for his guys. The first Seahawks drive was dead, but Gray Zabel was the one who revived it, because he got into Brian Brzez's face and baited him into throwing a
headbutt him. Yeah.
Drawing a penalty, and he spoke to Brian Nemhauser after the game, and Gray just said, I didn't really say anything. I just was standing up for my guys, and Brzee couldn't handle it, and he headbutted him, and Gray Zabel was an awesome pick at 18 in this year's draft.
Well, Mitch, as a rookie and you being our draft guru, what do you think of Gray Zabel so far this season?
Yeah, I think he's been superb. There's an awful lot of stability that's now being injected into that offensive line. It may not quite be where we want it to be, but in a lot of ways, it feels vastly improved, and so a lot of that's coming from the consistency you get from someone just locking down a position. You know what you're getting. Your teammates that play shoulder to shoulder with you know who they're playing with, and everything he's asked to do, he can perform to a high level. So we knew when we took him that they were really high on him, mostly because of his character and his versatility and his aggression. But actually, the one thing that went against him was the caliber of opponent he played against. The tape was all second division defenses. Well, now they've got an awful lot of tape of him destroying people at this level, the highest level. So they've been proven right. And again, hats off to the scouting team and the war room, because they were high conviction on Gray Zabel being the pick, and they made it happen.
Quick comment from Instagram here from Good Teams Win Great Teams Cover. Another fantastic pod that we had the pleasure of guesting on. Zabel is a beast, very impressive so far, and I think he's been transformative. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Mitch, who is your second winner, sir?
Another rookie. I'm going to quickly talk about Torrey Horton. I know I've already touched on it, but Torrey Horton so far has what now? 3 NFL touchdowns, 2 receptions, and 1 punt return. So he's got a special teams touchdown as well as 2. And the amount of targets he's actually had, he's feeding on scraps.
Yeah.
But there's no wastage there. There's no dropped red zone targets. There's no in a week when Marvin Harrison Jr. dropped that ball.
Jesus,
what a
yeah.
stinker that was.
I've never seen anything so bad in my life from well, it's a top 5 pick. It's top 5. It's a top 5 pick. Tory, there's been none of that from Torrey Horton, not a sniff of it. That's a guy that is highly professional, very, very dialed in on game day, because every time he gets a sniff of being able to do something, he capitalizes on it and maximizes his opportunities. So there will come a time where we have games where there's injuries, and I actually look forward to seeing Torrey Horton getting 8, 9, 10 targets a game and seeing what he can do with that, because frankly, everything he's touching is turning to gold so far.
Couldn't agree more. We'll whiz through these because we've still got some more bits to get through. My second winner, and I do not want to say it's Jay Harbaugh. I think as much as he is the special teams coach, I put special teams because this game, I think the way the Seahawks organization now is playing and wants to play and be sort of seen by the rest of the league was encapsulated by the special teams performance. You had the punt return, you had the block, just hats off to Kai Surratt as well for coming off the practice squad and laying the absolute boom down on that last defender for Horton's TD. I think special teams has been, as much as they were much maligned last season and in sort of the preseason, I think that they've really got their act together now. And you look at what happened last week with the touchdown from Halani, what's happened this week. I'm saying special teams, not the coach, but I know the coach forms part of that. But special teams are my second winner. Jonas, what's your third?
My third winner is actually the Seahawks' second best defensive lineman. I called him, Byron Murphy, obviously, because we knew how good he was going to be because he was drafted in the first round, and he's just unearthed his pass rushing skills, which made him such a star at Texas. Actually, through 3 weeks, among all interior defensive linemen in the NFL, he's first in sacks with 3. He got 12 pressures, which is first. He got 8 hurries, which is first. He got 9 run stops, which is first, and he got 9 solo tackles, which is also first. I don't think we can say anything else about him. So yeah, Byron Murphy has finally arrived in the NFL, I think.
Can I give some stats?
Yeah,
I'm very excited. Very excited because he was nearly one of my winners. So, Mitch, I had to ask you because you're the stats man.
Yeah.
So far this season, if we look at compare him to last season, so percentage of defensive snaps last season that he was in on was 48.6. Limited usage. Obviously, he was in that nose tackle rotation. So far this season, in 3 games, he's been in for 70.1% of the snaps. Now, talk about an increased workload, and that's not just playing at 3 tech. That's sometimes playing over the nose. There's moving him around to get the best efficiency from him. He's had 14 total tackles this year. He had 36 last year. He's had 9 pressures so far this year. Last year, 5. QB hits this year, 5. Last year, uno. 2.5 sacks. Last year, 0.5. Run stuffs so far this year, he's had 2.5. And last year, he had a total of 6. And he's already equaled last year's tackle for loss record with 2 through 3 games.
Crazy.
And I think
is a coming out party.
It is, and I think what it also is an expansion of what they are asking him to do. I think last year there was you're going to play a lot of nose tackle, you're going to play obvious running downs. So you look at his sack column and think, he's not really getting after the passer. Well, he wasn't really out there on obvious pass rushing downs. Now he is being used multiple positions, multiple scenarios. He's seeing more snaps because he's involved in those packages. Those packages are designed for him to be part of them. So they can keep him on all of his run packages, and they can put him into those. And he looks fitter, not fitter. He looks more designed for what they're asking. He's more versatile with his build. So yeah, they can use him, more liberally, and we're seeing that. So yeah, it makes sense.
Something I noticed when I was rewatching the highlights for probably the 8th time, maybe 10th, I'm not sure. His arms are the size of my legs.
Yeah.
His biceps and triceps are my quadriceps and hamstrings. They are massive.
Yeah,
like this guy, short, stout. His lower half is just so big and explosive, and the upper half obviously is catching up to that now. And he is going to be, if we keep playing him the way we are, is going to be an absolute force for this team. Mitch, your final winner.
Kubiak's red zone offense.
Ooh.
So last year there was a lot of moments where we looked at our red zone offense and thought, this doesn't look good. We would run it and then run it, and we'd go backwards. And then we'd abandon the run game because it didn't work. And then we'd start trying to throw it in the red zone without threatening the run at all. And then apparently that doesn't work. Well, clearly it doesn't work, because if you don't at least threaten the run, everyone just knows you're going to bloody throw it. So the red zone, I don't want to give too much PTSD to you all, because we've already touched on the PTSD of our return game last year on the last episode. And now I'm giving you the PTSD of our inefficient run game. But this year, our red zone offense is up to, I think, 68% success rate, which is really good. And in this game in particular, we scored on 7 of 11 red zone visits. So is it 7? No, that's for the season. For the season so far is 7 out of 11 red zone visits. So we're looking good. And last year, that is already an improvement of 16%, I think, already. So red zone offense.
3 games in. I love it.
The Kubiak scheme is coming to work right now. I think it was the first game against the Niners was, I think it can really sting, because when we're going for the Cardinals game, it's really important that the Seahawks are going to win this, because they are already lagging one of those games against NFC West rivals, and they would go 2-0 if they'd lose against the NFC West. And if they want to go for the playoffs, it's really important that they win this game. So week 1 actually really stinks and stings. And but to have this quick turnaround, and like Mitch said, after 3 weeks, just to see the scheme which was brought in to succeed actually working out is a really good sign for me.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off that for my 3rd winner before we go on to the losers. This O-line, we were projected 29th to 30th through the majority of metrics and professional pundits based on who was along this O-line. Via, I'm just going to shout out footballguys.com. We're currently sitting at 11th, but I think it's probably better. When you look at how efficient we've been able to be with Darnold throwing under center and in play action, it stems from having a solid O-line. When you look at the fact that we've scored 10 TDs already, Darnold's only been sacked 3 times in 3 games. That is outstanding. You think last year that could have been 10 times in 3 games.
Well, think of the personnel as well. That's 3 sacks in 3 games, but we've already faced Bosa and who was it in game week 2?
TJ Watt.
Big threat.
TJ Watt.
Yeah. I mean, those 2 players are capable of 3 in a single game against you if you're not careful. So
yeah, and also you look at our penalty count as well. I think with 14 penalties in total, which is it says 1st in the NFL. So I think I'm going to assume that's the best so far in the NFL. Yeah. And that's one thing that's really, really surprised me. Our penalty count for offensive holding or anything like that has just been it's otherworldly at the moment, because usually you'd anticipate there being some rookie holding calls on someone like Gray Zabel or Anthony Bradford doing an anti-Bradford, but they've been brilliant. I think
Jalen
that this
Sundell as well.
Jalen Sundell, even though he went out, and I think he's been brilliant as well, playing next to his college roommate. I think this is an O-line that is young and it is being coached correctly, which is something that we've harped on about a lot on this pod about the coaching. It's an O-line built for success for the long term.
Piggybacking of that three sacks, I just looked it up. 3 sacks in 3 games is actually second best in the NFL. So there's just one team who got his quarterback sacked more times. And actually, the last time the Seahawks started the season with 3 sacks in 3 games was in 1997. So almost 30 years ago. So
wow,
yeah,
that says a lot. Shall we move on to in my opinion, the most entertaining part of this? Our losers. Definitely. Jonas, as our guest, you get to start with your loser. Who's your loser, Jonas?
My loser is actually not sitting in Seattle. My loser is not playing for the Seahawks. My loser is actually the fans of the Baltimore Ravens who are crying out for Mike Macdonald to come back because their defense is just trash. And which actually on the lighter side or on the more serious side shows how good this Mike Macdonald defense is. This defense is sort of for the people who know, like the Ravens fans who knew how good his defense was. They're really enviable of the Seahawks defense, and having this way, having the Seahawks defense be the envy of the league, becoming the envy of the league is a really good sign for me. So yeah, the losers are the Baltimore Ravens fans for their team letting go of Mike Macdonald and letting him become the Seahawks head coach.
Just the Baltimore Ravens in general. There you go. Mitch, who's your loser?
Before I go on, I just want to mention that the sheer amount of humble pie being eaten by people who said, "Oh, Gino to Vegas and you getting Sam Darnold such a downgrade." Like, no, it's not. I'm pretty sure the Vikings want Darnold back, and you look at like Mike Mack being our rookie head coach last year, and how that's looking now, and how the Ravens would want him back. Well, there's a dose of humble pie for you guys as well. There's an awful lot of that. We had DK Metcalf the other week as well. There's another slice of humble pie. Have that. There's a lot of pie flying around at the moment, and I'm loving it. 3 weeks in, and the pie into about a 4th or 5th pie. So yeah, I just want to just say that is an absolute highlight of the first 3 weeks for me. But my loser was actually Charbonnet, and I think I'm only. Obviously, he's not played. There's no reason for any loser status due to any performance, but he missed a game, and K9 took his turn to score some tuddies and look the business in the red zone. Sure, the running game itself didn't really get set alight. I think our running game in the 4th quarter was good in terms of what it was intended to do, but actually establishing the run early in the game we didn't. But Ken still got it done when he needed to and finished the game with a couple of tuddies. So Charbonnet, the loser on this occasion, due to missing the opportunity to play and his competitor for starting snaps capitalizing.
See, I would have gone the other way. This was a short debate. I would have thought, based on the way we ran the rock, Charbonnet could be potentially the winners column, because they may look at what K9 could and couldn't do and go, you know what, if we had Charbonnet, he would have been able to punch that ball in a few more times and make us some yards, because Charbonnet falls forward. That's what he does. He doesn't, even as athletic as it is, when you leapfrog Kool-Aid McKinstry at the line of scrimmage, he didn't actually make any yards. So it looked amazing.
Yeah, but it looked good. Yeah.
It looked fantastic. But it was all style, no substance. Whereas Charbonnet, in my opinion, is all substance, no style. Right. So my loser, third and final loser. is JSN.
What?
Yeah, and before people sort of come at us for this, so JSN isn't a loser per se. He has been fantastic over 3 games. He's a loser because the team was so good, we decided to pull him out of the game before he could make 6 extra yards to make it 3 consecutive 100-yard games from a Seahawks player in forever at the start of the season. And I just felt bad for him. Like, he must be so annoyed. And there we go. How very dare he not get 100 yards? And it was of no fault of his own because he was absolutely fantastic again. But he must have been looking at the coaches when they said, "You're not going back in." Like, I need 6
You're kidding
yards.
me.
I need 6 yards for a ton. Come on, just put me in. And yeah, that's a tongue-in-cheek loser there. He's not really a loser. Yeah. He's by far showing the league that he is one of the best wide receivers out there. Yeah. And yeah, I felt a bit bad for him.
Yeah, speaking of that, yeah, I know where you're coming from, and yeah, he's again humble pie. The pundit said, yeah, JSN, the Seahawks don't got a deep threat, and he's just a slot receiver, and the things he's doing is just awesome. He's clearly the number 1 receiver with the Seahawks. He's becoming one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he's by miles, he's one of the most efficient receiver in the NFL right now. He's got about 4.7 yards per target per route, and with a quarterback rating of 125 and over, which is the most in the NFL. So when he's targeted, he's really good. And he makes a lot of yards, and yeah, he's just the receiver the Seahawks needed after DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are gone.
100%. Right, that leads us on to our Discord member musings. So, as most of you will know, we do have our resident German Seahawker with us today, but we are the UK Seahawkers official podcast. Still very, very proud to be that. If you want to become a UK Seahawker, you can. It's £12 for an individual membership, £20 for a family of up to 4 at the same address. If you're outside the UK, it's an extra £5 per membership for the postage of the goodies. Gives you access to game day field passes, members only competitions, meetups, which there'll be another one coming up very shortly. You also get annual selection of goodies like I'm going to show you here, presented nicely on Mitch's box. His box has become famous now. This year we got our 21-year anniversary patch. You get your customary wristband, and we got 2 coasters, which I'm currently rocking on my desk, and your membership card. And when we say you get to come to some of these meetups, you get to meet some beautiful people like this. A lot of these people are members of our Discord. You could join the Discord for free. Mitch has popped the link in the comments already. It's also in the description thing down below. But you can join the UK Seahawkers. That's £12 for the year, and come and meet us at the next meetup, and we'll be letting you guys know exactly when that is. But gentlemen, shall we get to our Discord member musings? I have to say, Jonas, I'm quite glad that you are on the pod, because I've not got to try and read a paragraph from you this week. But one person did try and write a paragraph, Rich. But as you can see, he edited it after I chastised him. So Rich has asked, so Mike Mack has constantly mentioned the strength of the 70 in terms of the main roster and practice squad. This ethos seems to be bringing out the best in a lot of players. What are your thoughts on this method? Jonas, let's start with you, sir.
Yeah, it's actually really, really smart to keep the rest of the roster engaged, because the way they are doing it is really thoughtful, because the NFL is really a cutthroat business. And there are so many players being let go, and what does it mean for those players? They're basically losing their job. But the Seahawks are doing it in a very smart way. So they do sign and waive players after Tuesday, I think. And Tuesday is the day they get their 53-man roster bonus. So if they're on the roster or on the practice squad, they get paid on Tuesdays, and the Seahawks are releasing them after Tuesday. So they get their money's worth, and which I find really smart to let the players know that even though they're being let go, they are taken care of. And I don't think many teams in the NFL do that sort of thing. So it's a really good ethos and way to handle your players who are humans too, and who need to take care of their families, and the Seahawks are doing it.
Yeah. Mitch?
Yeah, I think it's good. It keeps everyone engaged, and I think you only have to look at the success we're having on special teams from some of these guys that are elevated on game day. And there's this churn of players released and they come back, and it really, I think, G's them up to perform when they get on the field, because that cutting and rehiring every week, you probably don't want to be that guy repeatedly. So I think it really dangles a carrot for them to perform when they get every opportunity, and special teams is that. Yeah. I think there's been fruit from this strategy in multiple places, but special teams has been one in particular.
Yeah, I like it. We mentioned it earlier. There's not many teams that do this, if any, and we all know that the Seahawkers pod say that the salary cap is magic. It doesn't work, but I think this is a really good way of manipulating what the league gives you to get the best out of your players and your overall roster. So rather than just going, this is my squad, this is the 53 that I've got, this is all I can use, they've gone, no, actually, we've got this ready squad that we can just elevate, and then we can drop other players into it and keep moving it to keep people fresh. And like Mitch and you said as well, Jonas, keeping people engaged. Fantastic. Next up, we have Mark Woodcock, a UK Seahawker. Just how good were the special teams? Well, this week anyway, or more down to the opponent? Jonas?
I think that they were really good because, special teams actually, I don't want it to sound hard, but it's probably the easiest of the three position groups to play. And so even though there are gaffes in special teams like the Seahawks displayed against the Jets last year, you're probably facing one of the most complete part of any team during special teams plays, because they're so a kick is a kick. Basically, you have to be really good to find ways to block kicks and return punts. So the opponent didn't feature into that. I think it's a really good development for the Seahawks special teams to show out like that. And I don't think the Saints were that bad on special teams. So it was a really good showing that the Seahawks special teams.
Mitch? Yeah, I definitely don't think it's limited to just this game. I mean, go back to the 49ers. We had kickers struggling to make field goals. I think one was just a miss, wasn't it? But I think one was, did we block one against the 49ers as well? Yeah. Julian Love, there you go. Yeah. And then, of course, the week after, we scored a touchdown. And then following that touchdown, we scored on the kickoff as well. And then this week, we've got punt returns and blocked kicks. And so realistically, our special teams unit has been amazing from the get-go. In all games, in different ways, they are dialed in and doing great. So, yes, they're smashing it, but this wasn't isolated to this one game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And let's not forget, Derek Young had the massive kick return as well. So I think special teams, it seems to be a trend throughout the league. Special teams are really showing out at the moment. You have, there's so many blocked kicks, decent kick and punt returns. And I think the Seahawks are currently at the forefront of that when you look at how productive they've been. So I think it helped having the opponent like the Saints, who are potentially one of the worst teams in the league at the moment. But also that just extenuated how good our special teams unit has become. All right. The Fab man. Fab. I think that the game against the Saints showed that we have impressive depth on defense. What areas do you think the team would benefit most from having added depth? Go on, Jonas. Always guess first.
Yeah, I think it's a recurring theme. I had the kind of a similar question last week, because I don't think it worries me, because the defense has been pretty healthy so far compared to other teams. But yeah, one of the biggest points for me is still middle linebacker. They're really thin there. And actually Chesserat just showed out on the special teams play, but I don't think he really had a big impact, or I don't know if he ever played on defense. Drake Thomas had a lot of snaps instead of Tyrese Knight. I don't know if Tyrese Knight is re-injured or something like that. But yeah, especially if Ernest Jones goes down, I think there's a gaping hole in the middle of that defense. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with Paul, who's also on the practice squad. I think he can be a piece. But yeah, I think this is a thing that Mitch has preached of the off season. The Seahawks are, if they're going to do a trade, it's probably like Mitch said. I think Nakobe Dean is still one of your favorite targets. Would be at middle linebacker, and I think the Seahawks know it. And yeah, that's the position group which lacks depth, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I can't really add more to that. I think it's the glaring spot where, I mean, we realistically we could find ourselves in a situation where we're in good standing in our division. We are way over 10 wins for the season, maybe 11, 12, looking really good, get to the postseason, and one injury to Ernest Jones means that we are one and done in the playoffs, because teams will see that as a clear and obvious spot to target. We won't have adequate depth, and it will become a real problem. And I know we say that when we only talked about it earlier with the secondary, saying that it looked really ropey with so many DBs out, and sure enough, the depth balled out. But I have far less confidence in the depth at middle linebacker than I do at DB. So yes, linebacker for me.
I'd say exactly the same. I think I'd like to see us have a really dominant edge rusher, because as much as our edges are doing well by collapsing that pocket inward to allow for the interior D-line to do their job, I'd like to see someone really dominant on the outside. But I think Murphy and Hall are doing well, but then behind them, obviously DeMarcus Lawrence can play on that edge 3 type role. You've got Mike Morris who can play there as well, but I don't see anyone dominant there. But that'd be the only other one I'd go for. And Mark's come back and said, do you consider the current DVOA ranking a true identification of where this team is, or are we flattering to deceive?
I sort of struggle with these metrics. EPA per play, it's really kind of flashy and modern, and I'm not, maybe I'm a bit old school towards that. But yeah, I'm not really an expert on DVOA. I think it's really flattering to see, the Seahawks are in the top 5 in DVOA on defense and offense and overall. But I can't really tell if it's really a good indication or if it's just numbers. So yeah, I'm not really going to speak on that.
Mitch?
I don't think it's a flattering thing, but I do think what goes in our favor is the sample size. So we've had a good start. we've had a good start, and going beyond the DVOA, I think the fact that we are PFF's second-rated team overall, that looks like it flatters us greatly. However, our special teams unit is ranked in the top 2. It might even be top 1 now after that last game on a few metrics. Our defense is ranked extremely highly. Our offense is ranked extremely highly. Like when all 3 sides of the ball schematically are doing a good job. Players within every side of the ball are standing out on Sundays. We've got star players popping out, different ones each time. It really does make you think that this team is coming together. Sometimes those stats are skewed because one player has had a 300-yard game with 3 tutties, or or a quarterback's gone on an absolute mad one, or your defense has put up 6 sacks again. Or no, it wasn't 6 sacks. Was it against the Giants? How many did we have against the Giants? Is it 9?
Oh, something
11.
I don't remember.
11.
There you go. So sometimes you can have just a few games where these anomaly games where it just skews the stats. We haven't. We've had 3 very good games. We haven't sort of filled the stat sheet. They have just been well executed game plans against opponents, and the stats are saying that we are a dominant side. Well, we've looked like it, so I don't think it's flattery.
Yeah, and the thing with DVOA is it's all based on average. So all it's going to take is other teams to perform incredibly badly to make you look great, and then vice versa. You could have a great game, but because you fall below an average, and you look at this, and we'd scored 21 points in the first quarter. So on an average, our offense looked awful because they had minimal plays, minimal chances to run the ball, to throw the ball. We were just scoring, So I think DVOA is one of those metrics that it's good for people that love metrics, but I don't hold much stock in it. Anything that says average, comparing you to a league-wide thing, I don't agree with personally. I think it's based on performance per game. And then we've got Bryce from the Hawkseye podcast. Are you guys concerned with the current state of the run game, given its lack of success, as it is statistically similar to last year's team? Also, how concerned are you with the number of pressures the O-line has given up in the last 2 games, 24 and 26?
I think if we're going to talk about the Cardinals game afterwards, it comes to talk about it. I don't know if it's really like you talked about averages. And there was actually a really good quote on the radio, Seattle radio today, about from Fox analyst Mark Schlereth, who has been an O-lineman himself, because the Seahawks ran it 33 times for 87 yards against the Saints, which is not much, looking at the average yards per carry. And he said that as an offensive lineman, he doesn't really care about average yards per carry. The thing that matters to him is actually how many times you run the ball, because if you run the ball a lot and if you're trying to establish the run game, even if it doesn't net you any yards or not a lot of yards, you're actually chewing up the clock and drawing the defense towards the line of scrimmage, because he said the worst thing that can happen to a defender is if he gets the ball run down his throat, and they are actually more compelled to maybe get beat deep than to get the ball run on them. And that's actually a really good sign that the Seahawks ran it for 33 times. They passed it 21 times, and I think that's a really good point. Even though the net yards aren't there, the commitment towards running the ball is really showing up, and I think it works.
And then, concerned with the number of pressures the O-line's given up in the last 2 games.
I don't. It's like we talked about it. It's they have given up pressures, but the pressures didn't result into anything bad. Like we said, Sam Darnold has been sacked 3 times. He threw 1 bad pick. He doesn't have a lot of incompletions. I think he threw the ball 18 times against the Saints for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns, but only had 3 incompletions. So that's, again, it's on Darnold. He's really good under pressure, actually, and I'm not too concerned about it, if I'm honest.
Mitch?
Yeah, I think, again, you have to look at the caliber of opponent and the personnel you're playing against. Granderson was on a heater. I had him in fantasy, and I know for a fact he scored almost nothing. So thank the Seattle O-line for that. And, looking, like I said earlier about the personnel, TJ Watt and
Nick Bosa,
Nick
Mr. ACL.
Bosa. Yeah, Mr. ACL. Yeah. You look at the personnel, okay, we've given up some pressures, but I mean, you've had the game of your life if you stop TJ Watt, creating pressure. The guy only has to step on the field for your quarterback to start, sweating. So there's going to be some pressure. He could get pressure on you from 30 yards away. Honestly, the guy's scary. So there's an element of that, but also it's not converted into sacks. So you might cause pressure, but as long as that pressure is coming late, fairly late in the snap, and runs have developed, or the routes are developed, sorry, I'm not overly bothered. If that was sack stats would worry me, honestly. And discipline stats with flags and things like that would worry
Penalties,
me.
yeah.
They're not there, so no, not really.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, it's going to get to a point where the pressures may amount to sacks, but at the moment, it's not something I'm worried about that much. Like Mitch said, depends on how late that pressure develops. If the routes have already been run and Darnold is keyed into who's going to throw it to, pressure can come however it wants. If he can get rid of that ball, I'm absolutely fine with it. And therein, gents, is our Discord member musings, which leaves us with one final bit, and that's a look forward to the Cardinals. Now, we'll go one at a time just to see what your key to success is going to be. So, Jonas, you've already given us a key to success. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, it's actually getting the run game going because the Seahawks can't be one-dimensional against the Cardinals, even though the Cardinals are, when you look at their offense, which is going to be a big part of Mike McDonald's game plan, it's a really dysfunctional offense. Kyler Murray isn't doing anything. Marvin Harrison Jr. is dropping balls. I have him in fantasy as well, and he's not doing anything. And I picked him first overall, I think 2 years ago, because I won the toilet bowl, and was able to pick first. And I wish I drafted Malik Neighbors instead. But you never know.
Stinker from time to time, mate.
Yeah, so the biggest threat towards the Seahawks in this Cardinals game is actually the Cardinals defense, which looked really good against the Niners as well, allowing them just to score 16 points. And they can't be that one-dimensional, just having to rely on the pass game. So they have to get the run game going, like we said, and if they do, it's actually going to continue the good time you have as a Seattle sports fan, because it's prime time. Everybody is looking at that game, and if the Seahawks show out there, it's shout out to the Seattle Mariners who clinched the playoff berth and are really going into the national spotlight as well. Cal Riley is in the MVP conversation against Aaron Judge. I think if the Seahawks can show that they are a complete offense with a good run game, and which they can establish against a really good defense, it's gonna garner even more attention, and would be really good.
Nice. Mitch, key to success?
Just keep contain on Kyler Murray. I think the games where we kind of kick ourselves, against the Cardinals are typically the ones where we let Kyler Murray just churn out runs here and there, and we allow him to spill out. I think we could see some Tank Lawrence, important moments where he smashes the midget, off the edge. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's be PC, a person of restricted growth, or PORG, as I like to call them.
Porgy.
Yeah. Right. To be honest, I haven't got one because you two have taken the two that I would have had. I think an emphasis on the pass rush would have been the one for that. But I would like to say a massive thank you to everyone who's joined us, given us your comments. If you have left us a Discord question for Discord member musings, thank you so much. You can join the Discord. It's completely free. We have 12s joining constantly. We've just had one join now. Hi, Dale. Nice to have you on board. If you want to join, Mitch has popped that in the comments. It's in the episode description down below. And also, if you have just found us, by all means, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Really helps us. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all those podcasting platforms. And on social media, we are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X. We've got a Blue Sky as well for however many times I've actually posted on there. But all that, again, episode description. Also ways that you can help support the pod. We have got new T-shirts coming out, which I'm wearing one. I know Jonas has got one on order. Yes, you did. Jump into our Discord if you want to have a look at those. They are on our social media as well. And if you want to shop at Flying V, make sure you use our code 12Talk for 20% off your order. Bosh. And a big shout out as well to the Robin Cancer Trust, who we support every episode on this pod. Gentlemen, that has been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much to you. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined. And obviously, onwards to the Cardinals. Thursday night, Friday morning for us.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask you for score predictions, because if Mitch predicts a score and gets it right, we'll never hear the end of it. Mystic Mitch will well and truly stick, although that might have to appear in the pod on Friday. But I want to say thank you. And as always, shall we end this pod with a Go Hawks? And can we get it in unison? Are you ready? I'll count down from 3. 3, 2, 1.
Go Hawks.
Hawks.